What's up, guys? My name is Tai Zen. Welcome to the cryptocurrency.market channel. This is a trading and investing and an entrepreneurship channel. In this video, guys, I want to share with you guys about making hard decisions. Recently, a doctor friend of mine called me up and wanted to congratulate me about making the hard decision of leaving the U.S. for good, okay, and never coming back, to come back to Vietnam and take care of my sick elderly mom, and to also take advantage of the cryptocurrency boom that we're currently in. Okay, now to some of you guys that may not be a very big decision, but let me explain to you guys the backstory of why my doctor friend congratulated me on making such a big decision in my life. Okay, and it was a massive decision for me to make, a very, very hard decision for me to make. Okay, so many of you guys know that when after the Vietnam War, between the U.S. and Vietnam, I left Vietnam as a refugee with my family, and went and lived in the Malaysian refugee camps at Palau Besar, on the small island of Palau Besar in Malaysia, for slightly over a year. And then after that, I came to the U.S. as a refugee. Okay, and I lived in the U.S., grew up very poor. Throughout my elementary school years, I worked in the fruit and vegetable fields, picking fruit and vegetables like corn, cucumbers, cabbage, broccoli, strawberries, raspberries, all that stuff in America, okay, in the state of Oregon. And then we saved up enough money, moved down to the state of Texas, and we lived around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I was sewing. I was working in the sweatshops, sewing clothes, mostly women's clothes. So we were making, anywhere between 500 to 2,000 garments a week. And then after that, we saved up some money, and we moved down to near the city of Houston. And my family got back into the fishing boat repair business, and that's where I grew up working. And during that time, I was growing up in the ghettos. Many of you guys, if you heard of the rap group UGK, we came from the same neighborhood. We would be peers, the same age, things like that. And so the ghetto I grew up in, right, when I was there, I hung around the wrong people, ended up, messing with drugs, and then got involved, and ended up, one of my best friends ended up setting me up for some drugs, and I got in trouble for it. I went to prison for it, and then while I was in prison, I was ordered deported by the immigration court. Now, Vietnam and America does not have a prisoner exchange treaty, so because of that, I was allowed to, the Homeland Security in America allowed me to stay inside the U.S. until Vietnam and America has an exchange treaty, okay? But then my mom started getting really sick, and she wanted to see me one last time because I had not seen her since I was like 5-6 years old when I left Vietnam. And because of that, I had to make a decision, that if I wanted to go back and see my mom, then I would not be allowed to come back into the U.S. again afterwards, okay? And the reason is because after the U.S. government orders you deported, then when you're on a final order of deportation, you can only leave, you cannot come back, okay? So I went down to the ICE office and made hired an attorney, an immigration attorney in Dallas. He was really good, and he was able to help me. The attorney's name is Vanish Patel, down in Dallas, Texas. If you guys need a good immigration attorney, I would highly recommend that you get a hold of him, okay? So because I was ordered deported, I had to, there was only one way for me to go and visit my mom, was to just leave the U.S. for good, because the Homeland Security would not let me come back once I leave, okay? So Homeland Security and the ICE, which is responsible for the people who have been ordered deported, okay? So they're the ones that's in charge of all that. So because of that, okay? Because of that, right, I had to make a decision that if I want to go home and visit my sick mom before she dies, that was her wish, was that, hey, I want to see you before, I pass away or something. If I get too sick and die or something, I want to see you at least one time. before I die, my own son. So I had to make a decision, okay? So to fulfill my mom's wish, right? The only way I was going to do that was I had to leave the U.S. for good. I would not be able to come back, okay? But as long as I stay in the U.S., then it's okay. You know, I won't be deported, but I won't be able to. My mom won't be able to see me either, and she was too old to fly back to come visit me in the U.S. And there's all kinds of things that would prevent her from getting a visa and coming to the U.S. to visit me. Okay, so it's not as easy as you guys might think. So because of that, I talked to my wife, and we made a decision. You know, I made the decision anyway, right, to go ahead and leave the U.S. for good. Okay, now, you know, there was also the decision to take advantage of the cryptocurrency boom that we're going through right now, and I saw it coming down the pipeline when the ICOs started dying out in late 2017, and I saw how there was, you know, the SEC was coming down with, you know, new guidelines for cryptocurrencies, and I saw how Poloniex was not listing new coins anymore. So all these were clues that were in the market that the cryptocurrency landscape was changing in the US, and I really wanted to take advantage of this cryptocurrency boom before the changes got so drastic that I would not be able to trade and be a proficient trader. So because of that, I asked myself, you know, what I needed inside the U.S. I originally came to the U.S., my family came to the U.S. so that we can have a better financial life, and I saw that I had a better financial life already, and I also had the knowledge, the financial knowledge that I needed to be able to be a good trader and investor. You know, I learned that from really good traders in the U.S., and I'm always grateful to them, right? And so because of that, I felt very comfortable being able to leave the U.S. and never coming back, and then so I can go back to Vietnam and take care of my sick mom and be able to trade at 100% capacity, because there are certain things that I could not do inside the U.S., such as margin, such as shorting, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so because of that, I had to make a really hard decision to sell everything, pack up my stuff, and then leave the U.S. once and for good and never come back to the U.S. again. And so that was the reason why my doctor friend called me up and said, you know what, you know, that was a really, really hard decision to make, Ty, you know, and he said that I respect you for that, and respect with a K too, by the way, okay? If you happen to be a hip hop fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, just don't worry about it, okay? So he had a lot of respect for me, okay? And because of that, you know, he said, you know, throughout my life, I've become, you know, wealthy. I've made, you know, some really hard and big decisions in my life, and they were hard decisions to make. Whether it was in school, whether it was in my early career, whether it was with my, you know, wife, whether it was with my medical practice, with all this. And he said I really had to make some really hard decisions. And he said that, you know, from my experience, the people that become wealthy and the people that make life-changing profits in their life are the people that are capable of making hard decisions. And he said that he thought that he had made some really hard decisions in his life before, but the decision for me to give up the U.S. for good, for once and for all, you know, it was a really hard decision that he felt that not too many human beings can make, okay? And I thought about that, and I realized, you know, he's right. You know, where I am today financially, and to have the financial freedom to sit here and live in a, you know, high-rise luxury condo unit in Vietnam while my kids are running around drinking the swimming pool water and spitting it out at each other, right? And to do that and not have to worry about finances, not worry about money and things like that is because of the hard decisions that I had to make when I was young. You know, when I was young, I remember back in elementary school when I was picking strawberries, we were very, very poor. We had to live in a ghetto apartment complex, right? And I remember to make extra money, my brother and I had, you know, we took some of the strawberries that we picked off the farms, and then we came back and we were selling them by the pints inside the welfare apartment complex, okay? And because of that, you know, I mean, imagine being in the first or second grade and going around trying to sell, you know, pints of strawberries to everyone in your ghetto apartment complex. And then when I got to junior high school, right? Having to work in the sweatshops and having to make the hard decision of sitting there at a stupid sewing machine and sew all day after school, right? Getting off of school at around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and having to sew, all these women's dresses and blouses and shirts and pants until 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then sew all day during the Saturdays and Sundays and the weekends for several years, from the time I was in the 5th grade all the way up until the time I was in the 9th, 10th grade, okay? So these were hard decisions that I had to make. But compared to some of the bigger decisions I had to make later on, when I got out of high school, right? When I dropped out of high school to come home and help my family make some money, I remember having to make the decision to hang out with certain people. And then when I got in trouble for drugs, after my friend set me up, I had to make a decision if I wanted to cooperate with the police and snitch on all my friends back in the hood. And it was a really hard decision, because if I made the decision to cooperate with the police and the law enforcement and snitch on all my friends in the hood, then I could have let them do the time and I would do a lot less time. I would not have to have served, nearly 14 years in a federal prison for drugs. I could let somebody else do that. And it was a really hard and tough decision to make when I was 18 years old, back when I did not have the experience to make such hard decisions, but I did. And it was because of that, when I got into the federal prison system, the other older inmates that were not snitches, right, and not rats, and that did not, give up their friends and testify against other people, they respected the fact that I was a teenager who was facing, that much time in federal prison, and I refused to buckle and fold and give up my friends, okay? So because of that, that was a really, really hard, that was probably one of the first hardest decisions to make in my life after leaving my family and leaving my house, my parents, okay? And, I was offered multiple times by the FBI to snitch on my own older brother, to snitch out my friends, to go and snitch on other innocent people and set them up for drugs so that I can get a reduced sentence. And it was a tough decision to make, and it was not a decision that I had to make once. It was a decision that I had to make multiple times, because I was offered the opportunity multiple times, and multiple times I had to make the decision to say, no, I'm not, if I got in trouble, I'm going to take the punishment, and I'm not going to shift that punishment onto someone else, okay? Now, when I got out, okay, when I got out, I remember when I first got out, there was a guy who found out that I had been in federal prison for nearly 14 years, and he realized that I had not had sex or slept with a woman or anything for nearly 14 years, and he pulled out $500. I still remember it to this day. He pulled out $500 out of this out of his wallet, and he said, "Man, I'm gonna go get you laid tonight, Ty. There ain't no way I'm gonna sit here and let somebody, be locked up for 14 years and come out and not get laid." And I said, and I took the $500, right? And he said, and I told him, I said, I'd rather take this $500 and go ahead and learn how to invest it and make some more money, and then I'll worry about getting laid later, And we joked around about it, and he took the $500 back. He said, "I'll give you the $500 to go get laid, but not for something else." Right? And so I had to make a hard decision when I came out. Should I go and worry about, women and entertainment and leisurely activities, or rebuild my life? And that was a really hard decision, because I had to work 2 or 3 jobs in my early years. I was in my mid-40s at that time, and I had to work 2 or 3 jobs, right, to be able to pay my bills and get back on my feet, get a cell phone, get a vehicle to move around in, and all that stuff. And so those were really, really hard decisions. Now, I started doing well at the clubs, okay? And I started doing well as a bouncer, as a club promoter, and I was getting comfortable. I was getting a steady income. At that time, I was making somewhere around $36,000 a year working at the clubs as a club promoter. I was making about, I started out making $10 an hour. I got up to $11 an hour. And I was offered an opportunity to work at a gentleman's club, at a strip club that paid me a lot more. It was offering, they needed a bouncer really quick, and they needed somebody they could trust, that did not use drugs, that did not drink, that did not, whore around with the girls and stuff, that was respectable, and the DJ I used to work with at the college dance clubs went and worked at the gentleman's club, the strip club, and what happened was he recommended me, and I ended up going over there, and I had to make a really hard decision to go and work at a different club when I was already comfortable. I had friends and coworkers and everything that I was at the dance club that I was working at, the college dance club. And because of that, I made the really hard decision to move because I was already comfortable there. I was comfortable. I finally got settled. It was the first time in my life where I had my own apartment. It was the first time in my life where, I had a small but steady income to pay for my living expenses. And it was the first time that I felt like I was settled in and comfortable, okay? And to make this move, I didn't know how much I was gonna make. My salary was gonna be way less. It was gonna be like $5, $6 an hour. I was gonna go from making $11 an hour down to like $5, $6 an hour. And then the rest of it was going to be paid in tips and gratuity, okay? So it was a really hard decision, but I made the decision anyway. And I went over and I trusted my DJ friend. I moved over there and I started working there, and I ended up getting like my income increased, and it almost doubled. I went from like making like $36,000 a year to almost making like just like close to like a little bit over $60,000 a year. Okay. And so that was a really hard decision. I lost sleep. My workouts were messed up during that week or two where I was making that transition. And then when I was working at the strip club and I was making good money, that was the first time that I had ever made that kind of money in my life. I couldn't believe that I was making that kind of money, okay? And then things changed in my personal life and I had to move on. And I was, at that time, my parole officer, my PO, she did not like the fact that I was working at a club with all those girls there, right? And she thought that, nothing can come good of it, and it was so she made me go and get a different job somewhere else. And at that time, I did not have a college degree, a high school degree, or anything like that. So I did not know where else to work other than just, labor type jobs, okay? So at that time, I was going to work at I remember I used to train lots of prisoners how to get big and strong when I was in federal prison, and I had done that for over a decade already. I did that for most of my time in federal prison. So because of that, I had lots of experience on how to get somebody big, strong, and fast, okay? So I decided, you know what, let me go and work at a gym and train people like I did, because that was the only thing I knew. So I went there and I got a job. My friend, one of the guys that worked at the clubs, that was a bouncer with me at the clubs, he also worked at Gold's Gym. So he got me a job at the biggest Gold's Gym in the state of Texas, which was located in North Austin. And so when I worked there, right, it was a huge, hard decision for me to make, because I was going to go from making about $60,000 a year at the as a bouncer at the strip club to going to work as a personal trainer at Gold's Gym and be there and not know how much I was going to make. It was really hard, it was really stressful, and I remember losing a lot of sleep and losing weight over that, okay? But I made the decision, that hard decision, and I ended up going to the gym, and then after about 3 months or so, they saw what I was able to do. I got more clients to hire me as a personal trainer than any other trainer there. I had double the amount of clients that everyone had that was there for like 2 or 3 years already. So because of that, the general manager promoted me to become the lead personal trainer to train the other trainers there, okay, the other dozen or so trainers there. And when I got to that point, I looked back and I said, man, I had to make a really hard decision to leave the club district and come up here and work in the gym, the corporate gym business. And it was a really hard decision, but I did it, and now I'm glad that I made that decision. And then over a year later, right, I got into an argument with the general manager at Gold's Gym over selling supplements, and he was wondering why I was not selling any food supplements like protein powders and energy drinks and things like that, and milkshakes and protein shakes and that to my clients when I had the most clients at that gym. I didn't sell one milkshake, protein powder, or anything to any of my clients. The reason was because when I was in federal prison, I had done a lot of research on food supplements, and most people did not know that food supplements in America used to be illegal. They didn't know that. It wasn't until a congressman named Orrin Hatch out of Salt Lake City pushed Congress to make a law to make the 1993 Supplement Act, okay, to make it legal to sell supplements in the U.S. without proving it's that it can do what they claim it can do. Okay, so because it was illegal before and now it's legal, I did not believe in that. And when we were in federal prison, I had tested a bunch of supplements and I never saw any of them produce the results that people claim. So that's why I was not comfortable recommending something to my gym clients that I never saw evidence that it worked. Okay, so because of that, me and the general manager got into a heated discussion and argument over that, and I had no intentions of quitting the gym. But after we had the staff meeting where I was in the heated argument with the general manager, I went out and I got a phone call from the stock trading school that I had been going to learn how to trade stocks. Okay, and my trading coach at that time at the stock trading school asked me, "Hey man, where are you working at?" I told him I was still working at the gym, and he said, "Hey man, go ahead and quit the gym and come over here and work with us. We're expanding and we need more trader coaches, and I think you're doing great." Now, what I didn't mention during this whole time, guys, was that during the whole time that I was working at the club district, during the whole time I was working at the gym, in my off days, which I did not have very many, and during my spare time, I would run over and learn how to trade at this trading school that they had in the city of Austin, Texas, and I would learn how to trade stocks. And I had some really good traders there teach me, and I was learning that. And so whenever I had free time, I would come over there and help out in the classroom. I would help clean the whiteboards. I would help, write the numbers up there, calculate. I would help the students with their computers, with their passwords, setting up their passwords, downloading, installing the trading software that they needed to use in the class, whatever. And I did it all for free. I did it for like over a year, just because I wanted to be around other traders. And because of that, the instructor that was in those classes, he really appreciated what I was doing, and he saw how serious I was, and he knew that I had just gotten out of federal prison, and he respected the fact that I was very dedicated and I was very serious about learning how to trade. So because of that, when the people that were above him told him that they needed to expand the office and needed more trader coach, I was the first person that he recommended, because they asked him, "Hey, which one of your students is the top traders here, or the best student you have?" And he nominated me, and that's how I got hired at the trading school as a trader coach. And I started going there and helping other traders learn how to trade. Now that was back in 2010, after 3 years after I had been learning how to trade professionally, okay, or from a professional trader, okay. Now in 2010, I had to make a decision to leave a very, very comfortable, good paying job at Gold's Gym. I was the top trainer there. I was their lead personal trainer there. I pretty much set my own schedule. I can come in anytime I want. I can pretty much get as many clients as I wanted to. It was the first time in my life where I felt like I was doing really, really well financially. I was making close to $50,000 a year, but I was doing really good, and I was really happy because I was able to work out and do the things I needed to do to work out and keep my health while making money at the job and doing something I like, helping other people lose weight, get bigger and stronger, and do that, and be able to learn how to trade on my own free time, and be able to come in and I was able to trade, day trade the stock market in the mornings, and then come in to work at the gym at around 11 o'clock when I was finished day trading and making my money in the stock market, okay? So everything was great, and I didn't want to quit. However, when my trader coach asked me to quit the gym and come over there, and he said that he offered me a six-figure income to come and help other traders learn how to trade. That was a huge, I remember that was a huge decision for me, okay? Because after I hung up on the phone with him, I had to ask myself, like, what happens if I quit this job at the gym and I go work at the trading school, right? And it doesn't work out, and you know, I have to go crawling back with my tail tucked between my legs back to the gym and become a trainer again. Now keep in mind, guys, when I was working at the gym, all my co-workers and all the other personal trainers, they rarely ever hear me talk about working out. I was talking, even though I was the best trainer there, I rarely ever talk about working out. I was always, you know, focused on learning more about the stock market, okay? And they used to call me Mr. Wall Street and make all these other funny, stupid, you know, call me stupid names and make fun of me because I was the only trainer there that was not focused on learning how to be a better trainer. I was focused on learning how to be a better stock trader, okay? And they were all laughing, saying that, you know, I told them that someday I was going to be working on Wall Street with other traders. Huh? What?
I'm go pee-pee.
Okay. You and Thina go into that bathroom. Okay, both of you guys go in there. Okay? And so what happened was I had to make a really hard decision, guys. That was probably one of the hardest decisions I had to make, you know, to transition out of a very comfortable, good paying job where I was in a very good position at the gym and to go work at the trading school. And fast forward several years later, I had to make another hard decision to leave the trading school to go work at an energy brokerage firm where I felt I had a better pay, okay? And so I did that, and it was another hard decision that I had to make to leave the gym, and to leave the stock trading school to go work at the energy brokerage firm. And that's where, at the energy brokerage firm, I saw, now keep in mind, guys, I was making a six-figure income coaching people how to trade stocks, futures, Forex, and I had time to trade my own personal accounts. So I was pretty much in heaven at that time, right? So to leave that to go work at an energy brokerage firm for a third of the salary, right? I got cut from making a low six-figure income down to making $36,000 a year, and that was it, right? It was really tough, but I had some personal reasons to do that, and because when I did that, it was not an easy decision, guys. I'll tell you how hard a decision it was. When I did that, at one point I had my third heart attack because the decision that I made was extremely stressful for me to make, and it led to me having my third heart attack. And when I did that, that was at that energy brokerage firm is when I discovered Bitcoins. Okay, they were mining Bitcoins there at the energy brokerage firm, and I thought these guys were nuts, but then I found out that, you know, it was legit, right? And that's when I made another hard decision to take my savings and invest it into Bitcoins, okay? You finished? Huh? What? You want me to go with you? Okay, can you wait a few minutes? Where's Max? Okay, so what I'm telling you guys, right, is that I had to make some really hard decisions, guys, to lead me to where I am at today financially. And all these decisions I had to make were not easy, guys, and it was tough. When I had to make the decision to leave the energy brokerage firm and go and travel around the U.S. to teach people how to trade again, that was another tough decision. And then the decision to leave the trading school and go out and retire, you know, after I got into crypto, was another hard decision to make. And then the last very big hard decision I had to make was, you know, leaving the U.S. Now I'm sharing all this stuff with you guys, okay? And I want you to share this with you guys because in order to make life-changing profits, guys, you have to make some hard decisions that you may not want to make. Even, you know, and hard decisions are relative for each person. For you, it may be buying your first Bitcoin. For you, it may be buying your first $100 worth of crypto, okay? So that might be a hard decision for you. Maybe you lost money in the stock market before. Maybe you lost money buying Bitcoin at $20,000, and now it's really hard for you to get back in. But those hard decisions have to be made, guys. Okay? You cannot avoid it. You cannot ignore it. You cannot sidestep it. You cannot hide and close your eyes and act like it's not there. And the sooner that you are able to make those hard decisions, and the sooner that you are able to practice making them, right, the sooner that you will make the life-changing money and the life-changing finances and the life-changing profits that will allow you to live the financial life of your dreams and be able to retire early, spend time with your kids, and do the things that's important for you in life instead of just showing up at work and working 9 to 5 every day. Okay? So I just wanted to share this video with you guys because I've been making those hard decisions throughout my life and not realizing that those hard decisions are what allowed me to live the financial life that I live today. And so hopefully that helps you guys in some way. Maybe this video, guys, will help inspire you. Maybe you're stuck in a situation where you have to make a really hard decision and you don't know how to make it, or you don't want to make it. And I hope that this video inspires you guys to be able to find a way to make that decision, on how to make that decision, or to make that decision itself so that you can move further ahead in your financial life, guys. Thanks for watching this video. And if you guys want to speed up the process on how to make life-changing profits in the cryptocurrency world, go to www.cryptocurrency.market/blueprint and get you a copy of the Cryptocurrency Investing Blueprint today. And that will definitely help you understand, be safer, reduce your risk, and increase your potential for profits in the crypto market. And follow me on Twitter at HeyTaiZen, and I will see you guys in a future video. Thank you.